Freddie Mercury, the god of the stage who kept a secret. A voice with a 4-octave range. The second he steps on stage, 80,000 people are eating out of his hand. He turns opera into rock and rock into theater. And then, the greatest showman the world has ever seen quietly walks toward death behind closed doors. Silently, proudly, that man is Freddie Mercury. And this isn't just the story of a music legend. This is a story about the courage it takes to exist fully and the weight of carrying a secret to the very end. Today, we're covering everything. His childhood, his music, the songs that changed everything, and the legacy he left behind. Buckle up. This 10 minutes is going to take you somewhere else entirely. 1946, Zanzibar. Born Farrokh Bulsara into a Parsi family of Indian descent. His father works as a clerk for the British colonial government. At 8 years old, little Farrokh gets sent off to boarding school in India. That early separation from his family plants a deep seed of loneliness, but at that school, he discovers something: the piano. And for the first time, music becomes his refuge. 1964. The Zanzibar Revolution erupts. With their lives genuinely in danger, the family flees to England. Freddie is 18, an immigrant teenager who feels like he has no home, no fixed identity. This escape is the second major fracture in his life. He leaves his homeland, his culture, his entire past, behind in one move. In London, he goes to art school, studies graphic design, but music won't let go of him. He sings in a handful of bands. And then, in 1970, fate steps in. He meets Brian May and Roger Taylor. They'd had a band called Smile that had just broken up. Freddie joins them and changes the name. Queen. Shortly after, John Deacon comes in on bass, and the lineup is complete. And right here, Farrokh Bulsara becomes Freddie Mercury. This name change isn't just a stage name, it's the construction of an identity. Mercury, the messenger of the gods. And from that point forward, Freddie behaves on stage like exactly that, a god. 1973, the first album drops, but the real explosion comes in 1975. Bohemian Rhapsody, 6 minutes long. Opera, ballad, hard rock, a cappella sections, all crammed into one song. Radio executives say it'll never get played. It's too long, too weird. Freddie pushes back, and the song spends 9 weeks at #1 in the UK. This track completely rewrites the rules of popular music. Bohemian Rhapsody isn't just a song, it's a manifesto. The rules were never written for us. People are still arguing about the lyrics to this day. Is it a murder confession or some kind of coded reckoning with identity? Freddie never fully explained it. But what we do know now is that this song was probably a cipher for internal conflict, maybe even his own process of coming to terms with who he was. 1977. We are the champions, and we will rock you. Drop. The anthems of stadium rock are born. These aren't just songs anymore. They're collective roars, sung by millions of people at the exact same time, in the exact same breath. 1980. Another one bites the dust, and Queen dives headfirst into funk and disco. They refuse to be boxed into a genre. Rock, opera, disco, funk, glam, they melt it all together in the same pot. That refusal to stay in one lane is exactly what separates Queen from every other band of their era. And then, 1985 happens. Live Aid, Wembley Stadium, 80,000 people in the building, roughly 1.5 billion people watching worldwide. A 20-minute set, but those 20 minutes go down as the single greatest live performance in rock history. Freddie walks out, sits at the piano, and starts that AO call and response. 80,000 people answer back as one voice. That moment got nicknamed the note heard round the world. On that day, Freddie Mercury redefined what a live performance could even mean. But behind all that glittering spectacle, a much darker reality was building. In 1987, Freddie Mercury tests positive for HIV. At the time, AIDS carries massive stigma, and almost nobody understands the science. Most people are operating on fear and rumor, not fact. Freddie keeps the diagnosis hidden from the public. Only his closest circle knows, and this is where Freddie's real courage comes through. Even while hiding his illness, he doesn't stop making music. If anything, he works harder. The Innuendo album, the song The Show Must Go On. This track is the closest thing to a direct confession about his condition. By the time Brian May writes it, Freddie can barely walk, can barely breathe properly. But Freddie walks into the studio, throws back a vodka, and says, and this is close to an exact quote that's become legend. "I'll fucking do it, darling," and nails the vocal in basically one take. That performance is one of the bravest vocal takes in the history of recorded music. November 23rd, 1991. One day before his death, Freddie Mercury publicly confirms his AIDS diagnosis. The very next day, November 24th, 1991, he dies from bronchopneumonia brought on by complications of AIDS. He's 45 years old. The world is in absolute shock because most people didn't even know he was sick. On stage, he looked so powerful, so electric, so larger than life that nobody could see the pain happening behind the curtain. In a way, that final stretch of his career was his last great performance, hiding the truth right up to the end and saying goodbye through his music instead of his words. In 1992, Wembley Stadium hosts the Freddie Mercury tribute concert. Elton John, David Bowie, George Michael, Annie Lennox, Guns N' Roses, basically every major name in music shows up. A massive AIDS awareness campaign launches off the back of it. Freddie's death becomes one of the genuine turning points in how the public understood AIDS. Freddie Mercury's legacy in music is enormous. Queen has sold over 180 million albums. Bohemian Rhapsody remains one of the most streamed classic rock songs on the planet. Decades later, he redefined stadium rock, redefined stage showmanship, redefined what it meant to blend genres without apology. Every major performer who commands a stage today owes something to what Freddie built. But maybe his biggest legacy is this. Freddie Mercury, even without ever fully explaining himself to the world, showed people what it looks like to live exactly as you are. An immigrant crossing cultures. A bisexual man in an era that wasn't ready for him. An artist who refused to respect genre lines. And right up to his final breath, he believed that the show simply had to go on. "The show must go on" isn't just a lyric. That was Freddie Mercury's entire philosophy on life. If this story hit you the way it hit me, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and send this video to someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment. What's the most powerful Freddie Mercury performance, in your opinion? What moment in this story got to you the most? We read every single comment. See you in the next one. The show must go on.